Alright, g'day everybody. We're going to start off talking about stage 4 for the Dingo here. So this truck has proven to be just fantastic for us on the trails. We've really enjoyed the stock SCX setup. The truck is super tough, except we have the opportunity now to take out the axle housings, and we're going to replace the axle housings with something that is definitely a beefy upgrade. Let's have a look. First off, in the front, we're going to put in an offset A13 MetalHead housing. This is going to have a panhard link here, and we're going to put the panhard here. We're going to use Wraith link mounts, and then put all the aluminum upgrades on the knuckles and the C's, and we're going to use GCM last lockers installed in the truck, and we've got a centered SCX size rear end here. The centered rear has no more lockout. The bearing caps go right on the end here all the way to the hex, so we're going to use the Wraith link mounts in the back as well, and these babies are just about ready to go in. We are just finished installing the GCM last locker in here, and we're going to get this thing greased up here and get the cover back on. So out back here, we've just installed the last locker. We're using all the stock axial stuff, the stock axial rear axle shafts, and now's the time for us to just goop this thing all to heck here. And I love using this white lithium. There's every possible manner of grease on the market these days, and it seems that there's no shortage of people saying, use this, it's the best, use this, it's the best. Well, let me tell you something. That is true. There are some really good ones out there. But if I could add my own little voice to that choir, I'll say, I have never seen a better grease for an axle housing than white lithium. This stuff doesn't care if it's wet, cold, hot, doesn't matter. If this axle was full of water, this thing would stay in perfect condition. Because once you get this white lithium stuff on here, man, it just doesn't come off. And the best news about it is, as proven by Aaron's incredibly quiet honcho, this white grease in the transmission and in the drive axles is really, really, really quiet. My favorite part about this, though, living up here in the north, is that you can take the truck out in the cold weather, and even in the cold weather, the grease in the housing doesn't get thick. So you can run this thing in the cold without burning up your motor and making all kinds of battery heat and stress on your drivetrain. So we're going to get this thing going here, and the easiest way to do that is load the grease on just like you saw there. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out, but I'm going to add a little bit extra here just to make sure that there's no opportunity for the grease to get out of the diff. I like that stuff sandwiched right in there in the gears. Now, the good news about this stuff is that you can get it off. If you ever have to service in the diff, the white grease comes out no problem. You can hit it with a little bit of some kind of a paint thinner or a little bit of anything that's a petroleum-based breakdown, and you can actually get the white grease off, which is fantastic for doing cleanup. And it still leaves a little bit of a sticky film on the metal. You almost never get the sticky film off, but you can definitely clean it up enough for servicing. So there's the rear end ready to go. We're going to drop on our MetalHead cover here and stick in all of our bolts have to go in all the way around on the MetalHead housing. And once we get this thing buttoned up here, we'll start on the front and work on tearing down the truck. And you can see I put a little wire here on the pinion because I just get tired of that front bearing falling out. So without losing it, I just put a little wire on it. And there, we're going to finish putting the hardware in, and the rear housing is going to go in the truck.